Hi, so in this video we will be talking about the securities law paper of the June 2024 attempt, new syllabus. Now this paper was difficult and a student was required to know the entire syllabus in depth. So let's begin and completely finish it off. Okay. So the very first question had come, and now this is a new trend that they're asking. They're asking really big case studies in the start, and on basis of the case study, they're asking questions. So this situational question was based on block deal as well as non-receipt of dividend. So let's see the questions that they had asked. They had said that after analyzing the above case study, which you had to read, they had said, is the block deal open for individual investors? Okay. So what is a block deal? A block deal is a separate window created for institutional traders for doing their high value trades up when they are above 10 crores. So is institutional open for individual investors? Answer is no. Then they had said, what is the timing for doing this block window transaction? Now this is a separate window for institutional traders. It is open for 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the afternoon. Then they said, what is the first course of action available to a shareholder for non-receipt of dividend? So if a shareholder doesn't receive dividend, what is the first course of action? So the first course of action is approaching the company or the registrar and share transfer agent for receipt of dividend. Failing which, if no remedy is given, then they can go to NCLT. Okay. Then they had asked, what is the preventive surveillance done by SEBI and the stock exchange? So preventive surveillance are rumor verification, certain market filters, there is a kill switch. So a list has been given already. Okay, so these are pretty direct questions. Is it possible for a company to of a 2-year-old company to get listed on a stock exchange? Now all these questions are coming from mixed chapters. One is from dividend, one is from stock exchange, the chapter 1 and 2. And now they're asking a question which seems to be from ICDR regulation. They're asking that whether a 2-year-old company can be listed on stock exchange. What do you think? So in regulation 6, there are given certain criteria for being listed. So if a company is being able to satisfy those conditions, they can get listed even if they are less than 2 years old. Then they had asked a question which was again told very important. It was from the amendment sheet. So a student had to know even the amendment sheet. These are all there in the dream batch in our lectures. If you have not enrolled, go ahead. In the description of this video, I will be sharing the dream batch of the old and the new syllabus students, where you can get access to the lectures, the paid lectures for a nominal amount of 99 rupees, and you can watch the videos. And all of this you will see, even social stock exchange was there, everything. Now this was through an amendment of ICDR. They had introduced around chapter 10A, which they asked about social stock exchange and a question on that. Okay, so what is a social stock exchange? It's a new kind of a stock exchange created for companies which have a social intent. For example, NGO can get listed. A section 8 company, they are saying whether they can get listed. Answer is absolutely right, yes. Then even in that they said which are the companies that can be listed. So not only a section 8 company, even a charitable trust can be listed. Then they said that if they are getting listed, if a because what used to happen is these NGOs like Being Human, Cry, they wanted to raise funds for charitable purposes, medical things, for any kind of a social cause. So they used to go normally on crowdfunding platforms. So government said, why are going on crowdfunding platform? We are making a stock exchange. You come here and raise money. So now they are saying what type of instruments will be issued if they get listed on the social stock exchanges. So then they will issue a zero coupon, zero principal, zero coupon bond. Sir, what is that? So basically you get, if I am listed on this stock exchange, I will issue a bond, and let's say investor is investing. So he will get zero coupon and zero principal back. So why is he investing? Obviously it's a charity, right? Like as I give a charity, you don't expect any returns. So the once we give the money, then the company will use it for the objects. Okay. What if they are targeting 40%? So normally they say that you should at least have 67% for a they have given you a list of objectives which have to be covered. So it has to be a certain underprivileged group, approximately 60% should be guided to them. Okay. Then they are saying, if now this was a very simple question, if see the company was debarred by Home Affairs, can it still raise through the stock exchange? Now obviously this is 2 marks given to you. So if we see from the questions, some of the questions you can easily get 2 marks. So obviously they are debarred, so they cannot get. Then came question number 2, which says, as a company secretary, you are required to advise on the following issues. Now, in this also what I have observed is a student not only has to have knowledge of the in-depth amendments, not only that, but they also need to trade and have actual demat account to understand the practical side of it. So when you see if a student, like I have a demat account, so I would be able to relate a lot, because some of these questions are not there in the module also. So those practical insights have also been asked. For example, can a foreign bank operate to be registered as a depository participant? Answer is yes. Manoj, being a lawyer, has a demat account with one bank, but he wants to open with another depository participant. Can he do so? So can you have demat accounts in two DPs? Answer is even I have. I have one in Kite and I have one in Zerodha and one in Sher Khan. Okay, you can have an ICICI Securities. You can have multiple this. So this is a more practical oriented question. Then they ask, Manmohan Reddy holds shares in this company in demat form. Advise, how will he get right issues? Now imagine if I recently Reliance Industries has issued right shares. So if I am a demat holder as an investor, I'm talking, leave studies aside. If I'm a shareholder of a listed company, how would I get the demat shares? Then you would realize that they credit the shares and there is a option to make a payment for the right shares. So that is the procedure. From your demat account, the person can make the payment for the right share and the shares will be credited to him. So normally shares are credited, only payment is pending. And it is through ASBA process. So when you make an application for the right share, your that much amount gets blocked in the demat account. So this was also there as an important amendment which I had covered. Are debt securities, are debt instruments available for demat at depository? Now this full 5-mark question which was there was full practically based. Okay, so now when you open your demat account, if you didn't know, then just theoretical knowledge doesn't take you far. So here, if you had a demat account, okay, in my mutual fund lecture also I had advised the students to go at least create a SIP. So you realize, so in the demat, even debt securities can be traded. There is a separate bond section, G securities. If you have your trading app, open that, you will see not only stocks but even bonds, even G securities which you can go and invest. So yes, you can have demat this also. Then this also a very, very booming, or we could say a new kind of security they've asked related to that. One of the investor wants to invest in the growing real estate. He finds a physical real estate not cost effective. Is there any alternative real estate like securities? Explain your answer. Now this is also a very important concept which we are told, which is called as REITs, Real Estate Investment Trust. So nowadays we can't buy your property directly, immovable property, but we can at least buy shares of certain REITs, which further buy property. So you are a part owner of that property. So real estate investment trust is your answer. Then they asked a 5-mark direct questions. I had told that do the practical papers, 15 marks will come from there, and same to same question has come. So in the dream batch, in the description of the video, if students are there, they will come to know that I had a full folder for the sums that come, and all the sums actually have come from there only. So this was a 5-mark full you would have got. So a student could score well provided they have now this was a direct question about the IFSC, okay, which has been done. Allowed a company incorporated, types of listing and eligibility criteria. Okay, so even that is covered. It's a full chapter. Then they had asked about your SEBI intermediaries, who are investment advisors. Okay, so very simple, they give advice related to investments. They have to be priorly registered. Then they asked about wholesale price index and consumer price index. So this was also from chapter 1 and 2, which was there in the new syllabus about the structure of capital markets. Maximum questions, easily 20 marks. Okay, then they had asked Fed. This was also a direct question from the module. Okay, we had covered this. Okay, then the next question was registrar and share transfer burden. Ease the burden of listed company on a day-to-day basis. The very simple pre-issue and post-issue activities performed by RTAs. Now this was again register your SEBI intermediaries. They are asking what all do they do. So pre-issue they will make advertisement, accept the bids, etc. And on post issuing, then allotment letter, refund, all those things would be done. Okay, then next is again this was a question of toy manufacturing company with its head office here, wants to make a further public offering. Okay, now they wanted to make an IPO. It has changed its name. So again I had told this was a very important from ICDR. Okay, from ICDR they had said that when they had changed their name in the past 1 year, what are the conditions. Okay, and in FPO then they had asked about sweat equity of shares. Now in sweat equity, normally we all know it is from section number 54. Okay, and read with the regulation. Okay, sweat equity and those regulations 2021. Now what are they asking in that? The company is also willing to issue shares under the scheme to a whole time. So they want to issue the shares, sweat equity shares to G1. G1 holds 21% of the outstanding shares of the company. Okay, whether sweat equity shares can be issued. Okay, what are the disclosure requirements? So again, why we are issuing, what is the criteria, and for what less rate, what is a consideration other than cash he is giving. So those things were there, and what 21% what they given. The maximum sweat equity shares that can be issued is 25. So 21, yes, they can issue. The maximum limit is 25, should not be breached. Okay, so they had given some limit for the maximum sweat equity, how much it can be issued. Let's see the next question. Neeraj, an experienced technocrat, worked here, offered a high paying scale job he got. Neeraj wants to know the numerous SEBI compliances. Being a company secretary in practice, advise Neeraj about the following. Okay, so very direct questions they have asked. This is like a bonus. This is in section 149 of the Companies Act, where they are saying what is the requirement to appoint a women director. Every listed company, paid up capital and turnover is there 100, 300. They have to mandatory appoint women director. Then meeting and quorum. So section 140, 173 and 174 is about quorum. Then comes your section 177, composition of audit committee. So very direct questions a student could really clear for sure in this exam. Then they had asked about a mutual fund asset management. Now again I have seen around 15 marks they're asking from mutual funds also. A large mutual fund company having a portfolio of this much wishes to engage a Bollywood celebrity to popularize the scheme. Now when you go to the advertisement code for mutual funds, it has clearly been mentioned that no celebrity should popularize or advertise any scheme. So can Amitabh Bachchan popularize scheme for Parag Parikh mutual fund? Answer is no. Is it permissible? Answer is no. Will it make a difference if the company is intended to disseminate awareness in related to mutual fund industry? So industry specific marketing advertisement is allowed by celebrities. In industry specific, that you are promoting the industry, jago grahak jago, SIP kariye, do SIP, all of that is allowed, but individual scheme cannot be offered by celebrities. And next they had asked, a following person wants to change their status from the promoter to public. This is basically called as reclassification of promoter shareholders to public shareholders. Okay, now again if you go to see in LODR, a very specific regulation they have asked is regulation number 31A. Okay, which talks about reclassification. So a student really had to study everything in depth, and I had generally told regulation till 35 it is important. So it has come from there only. Paper has come from the important things. So they have said advise the following. with respect to the reclassification. So the promoters want to be reclassified, that we don't want our name to be put as promoters, we want to come in the public category. So there in that it is written that they should not be KMP. So if you see Raman is acting as a company secretary, can he be appointed? Answer is no. If they had made default in the loan payments, now and is a willful defaulter, obviously willful defaulter, no service is given. Mayank is holding 15% of the total voting rights. Now again, if they are holding 10% or more, they get disqualified. They are not allowed to reclassify. So he is having 15%, he is also there. His trading on the stock exchange has been suspended. So it's very, even if a person didn't know, but questions are such that defaulted, suspended. Okay, so these at least marks you can score. Then they'd ask, is a CFO. Now I told you, if you are a KMP, key managerial person, under section 2 subsection 51, you're disallowed. So you're also, they get disallowed. Then comes to the next question is about share price of all listed companies. They are continuously falling. Okay, then the management feels that the product situation will improve. Now we're coming back to the point. CEO the CEO of the company advised to buy back its shares as he considers the right time. Advise the management about the approval requirement of this and the escrow account. So such a simple question they have asked. 5 marks has been given to you. What they have asked? What is the approval requirement? So board resolution, how much board can approve? Special resolution, how much company can approve? And escrow account. So this is given in your buyback regulations 2018, read with section 68 to 70. Then comes Harish, okay, and Monish are planning to float an IPO. So again, if you go to see your ICDR regulation, I feel has come for around 20-25 marks. Okay, ICDR regulation 2018. What is the question? Again, this if you see, even in the video I've said, it is the most important regulation a student has to know, and from there only they have asked the question. There has been given a criteria to get listed. So if these criteria are there, they can get listed. Then again, so sum again has been asked for 5 marks, value holding period of SIP plan. Okay, so systematic investment plan of 5,000 rupees. The NAV of the scheme for this is this much. NAV at the end is this much. Okay, so what is the value of the holding? So value of the holding also formula is there, 5 marks. We have it. If you've done it, you can get full marks. Okay, then comes your takeover code. Now regulation 10, that is your exemption they have asked. In that what they are saying is, existing promoter group is there, one of the promoter wants to transfer this much to the other promoter group. So it is falling dedicatedly under regulation 10 of SEBI SAST regulations. So it is fine, they will not have to make any open offer. Then comes to the next thing is Exotic had invested in this thing. Let's see what question it is about. IPO. It is crazy amount they have asked of. They have lost it completely in, I think if ICDR was too important. Lock-in requirement for pre-issue holding. Now again, this is very important. Lock-in for promoter group. Okay, for promoter group, I've told it's again one of the most important. Okay, then they also said that they need to have a certain amount for capital expenditure. On basis of that, this was through an amendment of last year, which we have in the ICDR regulation also. Okay, what is the lock-in period varies if it is for capital expenditure. Moving forward to again ICDR, they are asking state the SEBI provision application size. Okay, to get more. So this seems to be Rajesh is an ace investor in primary market. Due to the rising net worth of individual investors in this, thus very few chances of getting allotment in the non-institutional category. Okay, he's an ace investor. By quoting the SEBI provision application size under non-institutional category, how and when he can get more chances of share allotment. Okay, so if he can go in the anchor investor category or other, I think high net worth individual that could come, or a generic answer needs to be quoted for that. Then coming to a direct question, which was also very, very important and expected, was about the green debt security. Even if a student didn't know what is green debt, they would still be able to crack it from the name. Okay, so these are debt instruments. So these are actually bonds. These are also called as green bonds, and which are used for environmental related bonds. So these debt instruments are issued to finance environmental projects. In those green debt instruments, there are different kinds of things you can do for environment. If you are doing for water management, it is called as blue bonds. If you are doing it for solar energy, then it is called as orange bonds, or those kinds have been mentioned. So this is for environment. If you write on that, that is more than enough. Any 5 purposes. Then comes to the very, very direct questions of section 6A. Again, a bonus to the shareholders. Almost all are very simple. First is risk management committee composition. Section 1. This is of your SEBI LODR, which I had also told as important. I think it's a regulation number 21. Then comes your collective investment management company disclosures that has to be made. Then the regular and direct plan for mutual fund. Mutual fund again is, I feel, is 15-20 marks. This is a direct question which I had told from takeover code, enterprise value, even there in the folder. The full explanation is there in the folder of the sums which we had done. Then they had asked fraud, explain fraud under this. I think anyone could explain fraud. Okay, it is an intention to deceit, and that is it. According to me, the paper was simple, or we could say moderately difficult to clear, but a little difficult to score very high marks. But I feel, considering the difficulty level, the paper correction will be very easy and a student does not have to worry. However, this is a sign to all the students in future to study in depth, and shortcuts are not really advisable. Thank you.